Listen to the story, I Am Watching Grandpa. My sister and I were spending the weekend with our grandparents. This was the first time we were actually staying for more than a day. Our visits were usually shorter. Grandpa's house was located near the noisy, bustling, dusty S.P. Mukherjee Road, the other end of the city where we lived. Grandpa and I shared a room, and as was customary, he said his prayers before bed and made me join in. I had an uneasy night with all the traffic sounds and lights from the main road. I managed to get some sleep but was disturbed by movements in the room. I opened my eyes a bit. It was still dark outside. Grandpa was sitting up. I assumed he was going to the toilet. I shut my eyes again. A weird rustling sound continued. I opened my eyes again, saw Grandpa and wanted to tell him to go to sleep. But Grandpa had slipped into a faded t-shirt. Then he looked under the bed and located his slippers. Grabbing a large bag from the foot of the bed, he got up. What was he doing? Shopping in his sleep? Lifting his feet up high with each step, he crept forward stealthily to the door, all the while imagining I was fast asleep. I looked at my watch. It showed the awkward time of 3:30 a.m. The sight of a 70-odd-year-old man sleepwalking like this seemed so strange, I could not control a giggle. He turned around with surprising agility, his large, owl-like eyes probing through the darkness to locate the source of the sound. "Be quiet if you want to come with me," he said. I never imagined an adventure with Grandpa. A few moments later, he led me through the main gate of the apartment and up the stairs where he had rented out a floor to a computer institute. When we got to the third floor, he took out a bunch of keys. The room, when it was not full of students, served as a cyber cafe. But it was not the main room that interested Grandpa. He took a right turn into another room, and we entered what looked like a shabby storehouse. He took 2 confident steps and turned on a light. His tenants trusted him with all their secure teaching material, and here we were, robbing them of God knows what. Grandpa whispered, "Lend me a hand, son." I went closer. He was crouched on the floor, his shopping bag open. A large stack of paper was strewn about towards one corner. I helped him pile the paper into his bag. After filling it, we hurried down. It was 4:45 a.m. by my watch. "Hey," he called out, "help me with these. Sort these papers out. One side used over here, both sides used here, and blank papers here." The work was easy but time-consuming. "What are you going to do with these, Grandpa?" I asked him, trying my best to sound non-inquisitive. "These computer people don't respect paper. Every day they throw away all these sheets. They've given me the keys to open the gate for the sweeper when he comes at 6 a.m. He takes these and gives them to the junk dealer who disposes of them carelessly. So instead, I do half his job for him." I was amazed by how much importance he was giving to such a seemingly trivial matter. Every day, my friends and I would waste hundreds of sheets at the drop of a hat. Pointing to the used-up pile, which was the smallest, he said, "These I'll give to the hawker downstairs. The one-side used papers I'll use for my accounts, and also give some to the poor children at the NGO in the neighborhood. They practice maths on them." I was shocked. I learned that the old man had been doing this for months now. This was a real, concrete, genuine effort to save paper and the planet. I stared at the septuagenarian in awe. No school education on environment had ever made an impression on me, my classmates, or anyone. But his lone endeavor made me realize it all. For the first time, I truly understood.